Deer Park Wildcats. We live in a country like no other. We ask everyone to please rise and remove your caps for the playing of our national anthem by the Indian Hill High School Marching Band. Let's play some football.
And welcome to Tomahawk Stadium. Thanks for joining us in tonight's matchup where we have the Indian Hill Braves take on the Deer Park Wildcats. I'm Jake Summerall. Joining with me is Brian Shaw. Braves just coming off nice win against Finneytown with the score 59-7. Pretty impressive win. Brian, what do you think we should look for tonight?
I think another fast start. The last 3 weeks, the Braves at Marymount, and then here against Taylor, and then as you mentioned out at playing at Finneytown with fast starts in the first half. This is a team that would like to go into next week against Wyoming healthy, but first things first. This isn't Deer Park that we've seen the last several years. Always in this league, you have a few schools that don't have large enrollments. So the numbers on the sidelines, you count the helmets, and it's a tough place for a young man to be. A lot of new talent, a lot of young players that are very good players for Deer Park. They've had a great season. 3-7 a year ago, 6-2 this year. Different team. Braves have to play well to do what they want to do tonight.
And to start off, Luke Legg-Lumberg will kick for the Braves, and back to receive for the Wildcats, number 4, Nori Johnson, and number 7, Darren Brooks.
Indian Hill, Luke Legg-Lumberg to kick off for the Braves.
Number 7, Darren Brooks, will receive for the Wildcats. Going up far right, splits through a defender, still going. He will break free. And he will go all the way. First play for the Wildcats is a touchdown.
Yeah, Jake, we talk about
Untouched.
fast starts, and there's the antidote to the fast start as it relates to Deer Park coming out, and nice blocking up front. That ball placed by the kicker in about as good a place as you can put it, in the corner, right at the goal line. If it goes over the line before he catches it, it's a touchback, but makes him return it, and return it he does. 100 yards for a touchdown.
Pardon me, did not go untouched, slipped through a few defenders, and just was home free from there. And for the Wildcats, number 10, Eric Hamilton. We'll kick for the Wildcats. Is up and good. That'll put the Wildcats up 7-0.
Yeah, Wildcats now, I think, 20 for 23 on the year with extra points. They haven't kicked a field goal to my knowledge yet. Sometimes the stats aren't accurate, but hey, don't expect them to miss extra points. Nice job there with the execution on a wet night.
And our food truck tonight, the Chili Hut and Marty's Waffles. Great food and drink. Concession on our food trucks.
How about that for a start, Jake?
Give
this
crazy.
This crowd hadn't even settled into its wet seats. Rain going to be a factor tonight.
That's for sure.
Over the past year, Indian Hill has changed its game to go from a spread offense that throws the ball around quite a bit. It was about a 50-50 split this year, to about 75% of the time running. Tonight, that's going to come into play with this wet condition.
And this game reminds me last year when we played CHCA week 2.
Yeah.
Same conditions.
Yeah.
We ended up losing, knocking on wood. Hopefully tonight we don't see the same result.
Yeah, interesting. You know, you play into really the early part or middle of November, and you don't see snow much.
Demetrius Baylor will receive.
Interesting. Not sure if that was more of a squib for field position or if that was an actual onside to try to get possession. Watching the Wildcats go off the sideline, looks like they're happy with it, that it was more about field position than possession. Could have had two surprises in a row, two huge plays in a row right there.
That's for sure.
Yeah, welcome to Friday night. You know, one thing we talked about is next week's game with Wyoming. Really important for Indian Hill not to think all week, and we'll see what they were thinking about this week as we watch them play tonight.
And Dean hands it off to Williams, or to Baylor, but he breaks free, and he will go untouched. The 20, the 10. Touchdown Braves will strike right back at the Deer Park Wildcats.
Jake, mark this down. There aren't going to be many games in your life, and you're still a young man, where you see 2 touchdowns and we've had 1 play from scrimmage.
Unbelievable.
Pretty incredible. Demetrius Baylor continues this year, averaging over 12 yards a carry. And you think about some of the greats that have played football in the state of Ohio, 12 yards puts you right up there in heady company. And it's because of things like that, the ability to see, to scramble, and then the speed once he gets open field to beat everybody down the field to the end zone.
And that play might get called back as a flag was thrown on the previous play. Looks like it would be on the Braves.
Unsportsmanlike conduct called on the Braves. Penalty be assessed on the kickoff.
Yeah, and sportsmanlike, we're going to have the normal point after. The yardage will be assessed on the kickoff.
That'll bring up Luke the Leg Lundberg for the Braves. Kick is up and good.
Yeah, great job on the hold.
Answers right back.
Yeah,
got a tie ball game already. 7-7 with still 10 minutes left.
Alex Lindbergh with a terrific hold on that. Sitchell, one of the Sitchell family. It's like Rozzy Fireworks. The Sitchells come out and they long snap and they do it extremely well. A little bit of a tough chance there for Lindbergh, and does a great job to get that down.
That's for sure. Looks like the rain is slowed down as of right now.
AAA Company, Mid-American Pool Company, and Cleveland Paving. Thank you.
So we're going to have the yardage marked off here. Unsportsmanlike for Indian Hill, and we're going to take it from the 40 down to the 25. And Luke the Leg is going to need every bit of it.
see Luke the leg with the squib. Will be recovered by number 4, Nori Robinson. He's going up the middle again, but will be brought down hard by number 5, Charlie Summerall.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea by the Braves. And, even better execution by Deer Park to get that ball to midfield. So the Wildcats set up. They run it about 90% of the time.
Wow.
Quarterback runs the ball very well, and the bell cow, Devon Bryant, 5'7", 200 pounds, good player. He's carried it 129 times this year for Deer Park.
We'll see number 12 for the Wildcats, Son McIntyre, hand it off. But will be brought down by number 10, Jalen Thornton.
Bryant Devon on the run for Deer Park, stop for no gain.
Yeah, interesting. They've run it 346 times, thrown it 67 coming into this game. The strength of the Indian Hill defense, obviously, is that front 7. So something's got to give here tonight. We'll see if Deer Park decides to get the ball out to the edge a little bit against this Braves defense. It's not what they've done this year, but might be an adjustment that they might want to look at tonight.
We'll see the Wildcats hand it off to Davion Bryan with a gain of none.
Bryant Devon on the carry again, stop for no gain. She picked up 1 yard. Trey Lopez on the stop for the Braves. Third down.
So we're at 3rd and long. Third, and they're going to call it 8. Looks more like 9 to me.
We'll see the Wildcats in an I formation.
Deer Park taking their time here.
And we'll see. Wow, what a tank. And he'll be brought down by number 1, Demetrius Baylor. That'll force a 4th down.
Yeah, not sure the Wildcats are going to be able to do that all night. That is the strength of the Indian Hill defense, but got to do what you do, Jake. You know, it's hard to make changes based on personnel week to week, especially with that offense.
Yeah, that's for sure. And back to receive for the Braves. And a flag was just thrown. And it will be issued on the Braves.
Well, interesting. It looks like with that penalty, getting it into a 4th and 2, looks like Deer Park's going to change course and go for that on the 4th down. Braves with a costly mistake here early, see if they can get off the field.
Deer Park Wildcats just came off a close loss to the Madeira Mustangs, 28-37. Rather close game. They were up by 7, and they came back. Really a close game, down to the wire. No. And another flag.
Well, Indian Hill giveth, and Deer Park giveth right back, and false start. That's going to put us where we were before the encroachment. And looks like we're going to have a personnel change, go back to the punt. This is the 2nd year for Deer Park head coach Calvin Johnson. Jake, it's not the Calvin Johnson you know from Georgia Tech. Yeah, 6'5", 4'3", 540. This is Calvin Johnson, who's coached at Western Hills, and most recently at Princeton, 2014-16. Beautiful punt.
Trey Lopez will receive despite getting lots of Wildcats pressure.
How about the confidence of junior Trey Lopez to come up, make that catch, which is huge. Not to call the fair catch and get a little bit of a return in traffic. Trey Lopez absolutely fearless. But Calvin Johnson, 3-7 last year, 6-2 this year, and turning around the fortunes of Deer Park football.
Be loud, be proud, be positive.
It's good to have a disciplinarian, Jake, but I don't know. He's a former police officer for the city of Cincinnati.
Oh, wow.
So, yep, discipline a big part of this turnaround for Deer Park.
We'll see the Braves offense come out. Not sure what's going on now.
Yeah, they want to start the clock. They're going to start the clock, and looks like we got a little bit of a clock issue. We're going to have an adjustment. Referee coming over to the sideline. He's going to talk to one of the assistant coaches and have that radioed up to the booth.
There we go. Clock's now running. Seems to be the problem.
Yep. Tonight, the clock being operated by one of the all-time greats, former wide receiver coach here at Indian Hill High School and Denison Big Red football extraordinaire, John Schneider. Now, I think what we're getting a little bit is this is with these officials. Seems to be confusion on the field. It's awfully tough up in the booth if there's confusion on the field. Coach Arcuri getting an explanation. Not really consequential. Here we are in the first quarter. Still 7.5 minutes left. Fast start for both teams, Jake. Right down the field, opening kickoff. First play from scrimmage, a match by Indian Hill, 7-7. And Braves will take over with just their second play from scrimmage. Cole Dean back there at quarterback, and Jalen Thornton
in motion. Yes. Dean to Lindbergh. He will gain a gain of 5.
Alex Lindbergh.
Yeah, Lindbergh all the way out to 2 yards shy of that first down. Good tough run after the catch. What you like about him, really, even as a young player last year, it just is, you can depend on him. Catches the ball and tough after the catch. Yeah.
We'll see Dean the shotgun formation with Lopez in motion. Hand it off to Lopez. The gain of 3, that'll bring up a third down situation.
Yeah, Dean, the game we had 2 weeks ago against Taylor, making some terrific reads.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, had a little slow start, Braves offense did, but boy, once they figured it out, that read option was tremendous. Going to have John Mark Williams. The Braves, again, running at 75% of the time, and even carries. John Mark and Demetrius both with just shy of 100 carries
Dean
apiece.
hands it off to Williams. He will get a first down for the Braves.
John Mark Williams
with a gain of about 10.
What this does, Jake, I mean, you look at the sideline for Deer Park, and it's just a numbers game. Deer Park, Finneytown, some of the schools a little bit smaller. You look at the number of guys on the sideline, not a lot of subbing. So you have Baylor in now, you had John Mark Williams in on that last carry. It takes a toll. Tough thing for these young men.
And Dean hands it off to Williams, and he will break free yet again.
Yeah,
20 to 10. Another touchdown for the Braves.
Yeah, Demetrius Baylor, I think, with 2 touches and 2 touchdowns.
Wow. Just incredible.
Yeah, Demetrius Baylor, we talked about it earlier. Some guys in the CHL this year, Demetrius at the top of the list, having just absolutely epic years, historic years. He came into the game averaging over 12 yards a carry. And that, of course, is going to go up with 2 carries of both over 50 yards.
Kick is up and good.
Central to Lemberg to Luke Lemberg.
Another flawless execution by the kick team. Extra point. The Braves out 14-7. Talk about some of the epic years that Ohio High School Athletic Association running backs have had. First, let's take a look at this, Jake.
Yeah, the middle was wide open for him to just turn on the jets and put 6 back on the board for the Braves.
Meach making great decisions and just the athletic ability once he gets to the second level. Interesting to note, Meach with, I think, 3 or 4 carries in his career prior to this, his senior year. Played a little bit as a freshman and a sophomore. So Demetrius Baylor just still learning that position. While he's running for more than 12 yards a carry. Think back to one of the names that calls to mind those kind of numbers, the great Carlos Snow from Cape High School, which used to be in the same league with Indian Hill, Cincinnati Academy of Physical Education. The school has since come and gone, and kind of an odd concept, but nonetheless one of the all-time great backs, and I don't think he averaged 12 yards. I think he was somewhere around 10 or 11. And that number, again, is going to go up after tonight.
Cape Crusaders.
Cape Crusaders out there with Vinnie Clark. Matter of fact, when Indian Hill played Taft last year in the playoffs, one of the old Cape coaches is now a volunteer with Taft, and reminiscing about some of those days.
I did sideline reporting for that game, and I ended up seeing Pac-Man Jones.
Right. Yeah. Well, for all the grief Pac-Man Jones, and deservedly so, for all the grief he took as a distraction and some of the things were going on, the guy was out. He would be out at high school games, Xavier basketball games. Certainly a man of the community. But Demetrius now with just under 100 carries on the year. John Mark Williams within just a few carries of him. So this Indian Hill Braves team is, these guys are fresh. Both these guys not getting overused and setting up well as we head to the home stretch of the season.
See Johnson receive, favoring the right side, but a flag has just been thrown. And he will be brought down.
Yeah, flag's going to save Indian Hill, and a little bit of dancing is going to save Indian Hill to boot. But some have to figure out what's going on here. Special teams, very, very important for this team as they head to the playoffs. And speaking of which, tonight, I don't know if Indian Hill is already clinched, but certainly tonight would be the clinch on the playoffs. Right now, Indian Hill, a number 3 seed, as Joe Edel's projection, in the 16th Region Division 4, and would face off against the number 7 seed Waverly should the playoffs if they started today. But Indian Hill with an opportunity to improve upon that seeding tonight and then next week. So Park's going to back up to the 15-yard line. But as we've seen in this game so far, these guys get second level. There's plenty of opportunities to score from anywhere.
McIntyre pitch it off to Nori Johnson. Nice tackle by Cole Warbrick.
Yeah, very physical play there. Didn't need help. A lot of times you see that where somebody stretches him out, grabs a hold and waits for help. He was waiting for no help, got his man to the ground. So a loss of 5 on that, Jake. That's gonna put us in a position, and again, it's a team that does not throw the ball a lot. Wet night, you get into a 3rd and long, should the Braves do something good here on 2nd down, you know, 3rd and long, you're looking at the potential for a turnover if Deer Park tries to do too much. First got to have a good effort on 2nd down.
We'll see him keep it, go right up the middle, and he will break right free of the Braves defense. But number 3, Trey Lopez is chasing him down.
But it's going to be
and
after
he will
a long.
catch him. Great effort by Trey Lopez.
Great job.
Wow.
By Deer Park's interior line and backs. I mean,
down the field inside the Braves.
You know, you don't often get that kind of separation there at the line of scrimmage. Great job. And Coach Johnson calling one up there that executed to the tee by this Deer Park offense. How about that? You're thinking about getting into a 3rd and long and being opportunistic, and the next thing you know, you're down on your own 10-yard line.
Just shows how much a play can determine everything.
Well, I think, you know, that's the hope. You try to stay close, you try to stay in it, and let a big play turn in your favor. Deer Park with an opportunity to get in the end zone and
tie the game up, hopefully.
Tie this up and start to create doubt.
You see McIntyre hand it to number 8. Refused to be brought down. Pardon me, number 9. Julian Anderson with the carry.
Yeah, Julian Anderson, you have to think, is the heir apparent to take over that spot. You know, Devon Bryant with the majority of the carries. Bryant, a heck of a specimen. 5'7", 210 listed now, but this is a guy that had a lot of success at Princeton High School in the GMC, playing against people like Mason and Coleraine.
Heck of a conference.
Really is. Coleraine, the best team in the state of Ohio probably this year, and Bryant's had a taste of that. As has Coach Calvin Johnson, who was at Princeton.
See McIntyre try to wedge it. Looks like they won't gain any, which will bring up a 3rd down situation for the Wildcat.
Yeah, really like to see McIntyre in this situation as a quarterback, improving his leadership skills, and a heck of a basketball player, good guard on this team, and they're going to need him. With his brother graduating and moving on, this can do nothing. Assuming he stays healthy, this can do nothing but help him.
And a big 3rd down for the Wildcats.
Yeah, good idea there. Looked like there was some confusion or just looking for something, you know, trying to get a read and get a play relayed. And 3rd and 4 with an opportunity. Crucial juncture of the game right here for both teams. Yeah, we talked about Devon Bryant. He was one of the top 4 rushers for Princeton last year, averaged actually more yards per carry at 5.4 in the GMC than he is just a little bit under 5 this year in the CHL. Of course, he's running the ball a lot more, and it's kind of the focus of defenses as well as his own team. But tremendous opportunity for him to come here and really lead this team offensively.
Nobody but Jeff Weiler Automotive is
so he's running 129 times coming into the game. Sean McIntyre is running 72 times. One thing we haven't seen come up yet in this game is turnovers. We'll talk about that as we go through the game a little bit, but Deer Park has done a really good job this year creating turnovers.
See McIntyre sneak it up the middle.
I love that. You know, you talk about it's one thing to sneak up the middle, it's another thing to sneak on a delay and go up the middle, look like the center. That looked designed to me, where the center snapped it, everybody else just kind of held their position. There seemed to be some confusion, and that's an opportunity to take advantage of some uncertainty and get the ball down to the 2-yard line. So 4th and 1, and again, don't know that given what we've seen with the field goals, 20 to 23, team capable, obviously, of doing that here. But right now, trying to make a statement in this game early, build some confidence, and keep the score tight.
Looks like they will go for it on 4th down.
I'm going to call a timeout here. You know, it's understandable, but boy, you hate to have 2 of them. But they might not have another situation here in the first half that's this significant.
Academics and the arts, National Heating and Air, the big name in comfort.
Pulling up the standings for the CHL, Wyoming and Indian Hill both sitting comfortably at 5-0 in the league. And Deer Park tied with Marymount sitting at 3-2. Marymount 2-3. Reading and Taylor both sitting at 1-4, and Finneytown at 0-5.
Yeah, we talk about, having Wyoming next week and the implications, how big that game could be if Indian Hill has success tonight. Next week, that team that they're tied with, Deer Park, is at Marymount. So that's how they'll finish up their Week 10.
We'll see McIntyre try to wedge it up the middle yet again, and it is good.
Yeah, you just see that confidence growing, and kids buying in. And Sean McIntyre and his leadership just growing.
Is up and good for the Wildcats, making the score 14-14.
Yeah,
Still 1 minute left.
We talked about 3 weeks ago how Indian Hill goes down to Marymount, and after playing really tight games with Madeira and some of the other teams in the CHL, they go down there and they finally have a huge first half. They start fast and create some separation. Let's take a look at this. Looks like we're going to have a replay of that touchdown at 1 yard.
Great job of the Deer Park
O-line. Look at that push in the middle and how many guys are in the end zone as this play develops. And, you have to guard the whole field. I mean, you only have so many guys in that middle part of the field. Deer Park doing a great job. It's what you should do. But we'll talk about how things kind of changed a few weeks ago down at Marymount. And Indian Hill, since that time, has not played to the level of competition. They've played above it. In fact, since that point, Indian Hill has outscored its opponents the last 3 games, 174-33.
Wow.
So, you had every expectation. This team's hitting on all 8 cylinders. They come in here, and hats off to Deer Park for saying not so fast.
Another squib.
Yeah, kicking that ball 20 yards down the field, and I'm not sure they couldn't go a little deeper than that, or try to put that ball in play so you could recover it and get possession. But an interesting approach. Twice it's gotten the ball to midfield. Yeah, think about the CHL tonight. A couple of other games we'll get to here after this play.
We'll see Dean in the shotgun with Williams on his left. Will hand it off to Williams. My bad. Looks like a fumble and Dean kept it. Sure as hell got me.
Yeah, never got the exchange, never got the ball into John Mark. And, the idea for the defensive lineman, once you select somebody and you take that assignment, you finish. And great job. Looked like number 60 for Deer Park finishing. I might have that number wrong because I don't see a 60 on my list here, but the same guy actually that hit Cole pretty good in the last drive when Cole had that read option with Trey Lopez. Doing his job. You have to finish that play as a defensive player, and Deer Park's defensive lineman doing just that. Bengals a few years ago had a great game against RG3 in Washington, and said if he's doing read option, he is a running back, and we are going to literally hit him every single time he does it until we can affect his ability to play this game. And Bengals did it, and right here Deer Park's doing it.
Second down.
Interesting. Joe Oakes, talk about what this game means. Joe Oakes, who they've been trying to preserve throughout the regular season, mostly an offensive player. Joe Oakes out there getting some snaps on the defensive end.
See McIntyre hand it off to number 1, Davion Bryant.
Yeah, Bryant just too strong and too low a center of gravity to try to tackle him up around the shoulders. Runs through that tackle, and great yardage. One thing you're seeing that Deer Park's been doing here recently they didn't do in the first drive that was down at their end is getting positive yardage early in the series. So getting good first down, second down yardage to put themselves in a position where they've got more options available to them as an offense.
Davion Bryant, only 5'7", 210, not the tallest guy on the Deer Park roster, but sure has a lot of momentum.
It looks like they coughed it up.
On the play.
We'll see who had possession of the ball.
Yeah, it looks like Braves came
Braves
up with it. You know, one thing with this offense, you know, they've been obviously working on this for quite a while, but we'll take a look at the replay and see just how much they ask the quarterback to do as far as let's take a look at it. Well, we're just catching the back end of it, but there's quite a bit of action going on.
Yes.
Before the handoff, and you know, so teams exchange turnovers. Really, the net effect of that, nothing's happened. Indian Hill with the ball back, and 14-14 game. And this first quarter is flying by, 1:10 left. Or I'm sorry, 11 seconds left.
Braves offense will take the field yet again.
Good news here is if they can get 15 yards on this, they can end the quarter and just turn around.
Still with 15 seconds left in the first.
Well, it looks like we're going to stop the clock and maybe reset. Good news is the rain stopped. You know, when it's raining and there's a stop like this, people yell at the officials and they're like, come on, you know, I'm dying out here. So good news, but that rain was early, and boy, if you got wet, now you're in 45-degree temperatures. Not fun.
Dean will hand it off to Williams in a loss of 3.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to end the quarter with the ball on the 30-yard line. So they got a little bit of a walk, but that's all right.
This is Baylor stopped in the backfield.
And that will run out the first quarter.
Yeah, if you're Deer Park right now, you're loving every bit of this. Now, the difficulty comes in that you're not playing as many guys, you know, and you got to play 4 quarters. But, you know, one thing I think you might see the Braves do, we've talked about it before, they are close to the line of scrimmage and sometimes going laterally on handoffs and things of that nature. You might see the Braves start to pitch the ball, put the foot in the ground with a little bit of a head start, and see Demetrius and John Mark start to punish these defensive players with 5, 10, 15-yard collisions. Whole different ballgame here.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2018 Indian Hill High School Varsity Cheerleaders.
Yeah, looking around the CHL, other games tonight, we do have Wyoming is going to be hosting Marymount. Taylor hosting Reading. Reading making that trip out to Taylor. And at Madeira, the Finneytown Wildcats, the other Wildcats, at Madeira, and it's Hall of Fame night, and Andrew Benintendi, who is the class of 2013, is being inducted. But as you know, past midnight last night, he was down in Houston playing baseball for the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah.
They did clinch, or they got that series, so they've got a couple of days off. Not sure if Andrew Benintendi is going to be in the crowd to receive his recognition tonight. But big night at Madeira. There we go. That is the pitch we talked about.
Pitch it off to Williams.
Yeah. You know, you're
gain of 4.
Still taking a bite out of our quarterback, though. You know, like to see that pitch get made and keep him clean.
Yeah.
But did enable what we talked about, which is the foot in the ground and the collision. Now, that one kept going at an angle toward the sideline, but at some point, guys will cut it up, go north and south, and that's when Demetrius Baylor becomes a handful.
See the Braves waiting a play call, getting in formation.
Madeira with a chance, by the way. They are now the number 5 seed in Region 20. So if Madeira can win tonight, go a long way towards solidifying a playoff opportunity. It looks like the CHL could have 3 teams, Wyoming, Indian Hill, and Madeira, in the playoffs, which would be tremendous. Boy, just a lot of clock management, game management by these referees.
Clock will be kept on the field.
Good thing Coach Gentry doesn't have his basketball team out there tonight. With all these stops, he'd be going crazy.
Dean looking for Luke Hammond, and it is good, and he will get a first down, but is taken down by number 4, Nori Johnson.
Yeah, you know, Jake, one thing that you're seeing with this Indian Hill team that I think is superior to other teams that they've had is just the number of guys that are performing a very specific role. Hammond is that big target down the field, that first down possession kind of guy. Trey Lopez is that elusive speedster kind of guy. You know, and you just have all these guys, Jack Hankin and the work that he does, these offensive linemen like Hooten and the rest of them.
See Dean hit it off to Baylor. Oh, but the ball's loose. And the Wildcats will regain possession.
Yeah. Yeah, Meach got hit. He was sideways and came out as he was going down. But, you know, thinking about Indian Hill, they've always had guys that can do it on both sides of the ball. And this year, John Mark and Demetrius and Jalen, guys like that. But the number of guys they've got that are specialists, the kicking game, etc., they've just got so many guys that perform a very specific function. Deep team. Very deep team for the Braves this year. Let's see if Deer Park can take advantage of this. Deer Park with an opportunity to take the lead here in the second quarter.
We'll see McIntyre hand it off to Bryant.
Yeah, when
gain of 1.
When you saw Bryant change direction, there aren't a whole lot of options that you're going to look to, but Jalen Thornton is at the top of the list, and incredible strength by Jalen Thornton. We talked about Bryant and his low center of gravity, and Thornton able to corral him and send him backwards, spill him. Jalen, of course, heading off to Big 12 football next year for the West Virginia Mountaineers.
Taken down by Tribe of Braves.
Yeah, that's tough sledding right there. You know, some of the trap and the quick hits and that kind of stuff, you can see them catching a seam, but boy, you start going side to side against that front 7 of the Braves. Joe Oakes now in there. Multiple series with Jack Hankin, Jalen Thornton up there on that line, and then Kleekamp and Baylor and Williams back there in the linebacker core. Good group of guys.
see a pass. Oh.
And
Looks
that
like
is a catch.
Rather
Yeah,
low. Close catch by number 4, Nori Robinson.
you know, love the call. I believe that's the first pass. I don't recall another one, but a little play action and then come back and receiver wide open. I know Deshaun McIntyre would probably like to have that back. That could have been 6, but nonetheless, big play, and give the Braves a little something to think about as well. Nice design on that and great execution.
See McIntyre hand it off, but will be brought down by Jalen Thornton.
Yeah, you know, you see that, Jake, and you think in terms of who do you tackle. I mean, you know, at some point, that is going to be a quarterback pulling it back out of the breadbasket and taking it over to the side. That is it really requires 11 helmets. I mean, it looks like it's just right in there and everything's clogged up, but that's a play that has to concern the Braves. Got to get 11 hats over there.
2nd and 9 for the Wildcats. We'll see McIntyre looking short, actually. Pushed out of bounds by number 9, Alex Lindbergh.
Looks like we got
Davion Bryant with the
flag in the secondary that's going to affect this. And it looks like Braves are saying it's going to go against Deer Park. What a catch. Think about Devon Bryant and the ability to catch that ball down at his shoes on the dead run. Boy, you're seeing a lot of athleticism right there, being able to make that play and still outrun the defender to the sideline.
Holding downfield on Deer Park.
Not sure what it was. I would suspect it was a hold downfield, somebody trying to block and get him into the end zone. That's going to take the ball back out to the 26. But not the end of the world for Deer Park. Puts him in a 2nd and short.
2nd down.
Which actually opens up that playbook, makes you really defend everything.
Not sure what's going on with the clock.
Yeah, showing zeros on the clock, but referees moving on. Maybe keeping the time on the field.
Devon Bryant on the carry. Shut up by the Braves defensive line.
I'm not sure what's going on with the clock.
Yeah, it's possible they may just be keeping it on the field. Looks like the side judge over here closest to us might be keeping it. You know, you think in advance of the Braves really kind of turning the corner, or what we thought was turning the corner 3 weeks ago, they had actually played teams very similar to the way Deer Park had played them.
Oh, and number 6 is broken through. Christian Figgins will score for the Wildcats.
How about that?
Christian Figgins takes the handoff. Takes it 25 yards for a Wildcat touchdown.
Wow.
And going right through the heart of that Indian Hill defense.
Lopez just didn't have enough time to turn on the jets and get to him.
Impossible place to be. You got a kid that weighs over 200 with a head of steam and a wide receiver blocking you with contact. Tough place to be. But Braves once again.
PAT up and good.
Braves once again with the problem at the point of attack, the line of scrimmage, which has been a strength for this Indian Hill team. I mean, a lot of times we've seen it this year where teams have had success for a period of time against Indian Hill by getting the ball out to the edge and having guys maybe make a play. Tonight we're seeing a whole different thing. Deer Park able to have success right in the strength of this Indian Hill defense. Multiple guys too, Jake. You know, similar to Indian Hill where not just one running back is doing the damage.
is committed to doing the right thing for its customers, colleagues, shareholders, and community. They're ready to help in person, online, or on the phone. Huntington Bank.
Looking down at the fence, I think I see the great A.J. King wearing a Johns Hopkins hat. Must be fall break in Baltimore.
I also see Tennyson Holmes.
Tennyson Holmes is
former
here?
running back.
I love
on the
it.
sideline.
I did
Just
not.
lost him.
Okay, didn't know that.
Oh, down there with Mick Oakes at the 35.
Yeah, Braves again on that short kick. We'll have the ball near midfield. Might be taking away big play opportunity, but boy, the Braves have got great field position all night with that. Yeah, A.J. King playing baseball in the Centennial Conference. Johns Hopkins Blue Jays, who have some of the finest facilities for baseball. Of course, a lacrosse school, first and foremost. And then Tennyson Holmes, who made a great choice heading out to Washington University in St. Louis, one of the best schools in the country, just like Johns Hopkins.
Indeed, getting pressure forced out of the pocket, but is sacked by number 55, Caden Lawson.
Indeed, sacked in the backfield. Caden Lawson on the sack for Deer Park. This is second and long.
Yeah, tough chance there on first down. Put the Braves behind the sticks. Bring up a second and long.
Running up 21-0 in the second quarter against Taylor.
A second and 19 here for the Braves.
We'll see Williams going to his left. He's brought down by number 4, Nori Johnson.
Yeah, good finish to that run by Demetrius. Still get that ball in the right hand, but like we said, this guy that came into this season incredibly with just a handful of carries. And he's only had 100 of them here in this season. You think about that, and he is just learning that position, but his natural talent just taking over.
We'll see Dean hand it off to Williams.
Yeah, looks like Indian Hill trying to come out, be physical, and establish that run. And incredibly turn a second and 19
moving those chains
into a first down. Yeah, all with the run and not trying to fool anybody. John Mark Williams going to come in and give Demetrius a blow and do some damage of his own potentially.
See Thornton in motion.
Looks like they're
Dean out of the pocket, looking long to Lopez, and it will be caught. What a catch by Lopez.
Yeah, looks like there's a little bit of contact. I think that's going to go against Deer Park, and they'll decline it because of the catch. A nice throw there by Dean. In all honesty, almost impossible. We're going to take a look here. Almost impossible to defend the underthrown ball down the field. You look at it, first of all, looks like Thornton, he had him. I thought he was going to go quick hit.
Dean getting forced out of the pocket.
But does a nice job of keeping the play alive. You see that underthrow there with the defender with his back to the ball. Really hard to defend. Jalen Thornton, speaking of which, the last 4 weeks has really come on and had a catch in each of those 4 weeks and has scored multiple times. So he's starting to expand the roles.
And Dean will hand it off to Williams. Only 5 yards short.
Yeah, great carry. We'll take that. First and goal from the 10 and get 5 of it. We'll take that all day. John Mark not happy with that, but I assure you his coaches were happy with it. Yeah, in the last 4 games, Jalen Thornton has caught a ball in each one and scored 4 times.
We'll see Lopez in motion. but Dean will keep it.
Dean on the keeper just inside the 5-yard line. Third down.
That'll bring up a third down for the Braves.
Yeah, Demetrius Baylor is going to come back in, replace John Mark Williams. One thing we haven't really seen much here, I don't recall, Jake, is both of them in the backfield at the same time.
Yeah, now that I think about it, I haven't seen that too much.
No, two really good athletes that, when it's a running situation, just one more guy to block.
And Dean dropping to his right yet again, but he will run it right into the big house for a Braves touchdown.
Cole Dean doing a great job. Let's take a look at this replay, and we're going to take a look at the attention he's paid, and rightfully so, on how Cole Dean uses that to his advantage. That defensive end for Deer Park, not to allow Dean to get that ball to Demetrius Baylor, but at the same time giving Dean a clear path to the end zone. Got to make a decision. He made one, and Dean makes one in turn and made the right one, got in the end zone.
PAT is up and good.
A year ago, Cole Dean would have been worried about his grip on the ball. He would have been worried about the temperatures, the wind that we're having tonight, all the things that would come into play. And you'd have to think that tonight he's in a little bit of a different place mentally as a quarterback with the running game that they've got, with multiple guys in the running game, with the read option, with his ability to make shorter throws to guys like Thornton and Hammond. And just much more of a manager this year than a playmaker. And he's doing a great job of it. Tough to be a playmaker when it's 45 degrees, 20-mile-an-hour wind, and raining.
That's for sure.
Yeah. Let's see if the Braves get a little energy from what they've done there and come out on defense and get a stop. Looks like they're going to have another squib. Very interesting.
Ooh, ball was dropped, but recovered yet again.
It happens every time. Nothing more dangerous than a dropped
We'll run it in for a Wildcat touchdown.
Yep. Here we go. Looks like we got, that's, I think, going to be after the play and maybe assessed on a kickoff. We're going to take a replay, of course, of this one. Jake, you can see, the replay is of the crossing of the goal line, but earlier than that, if we spun that back, dropping that ball actually
helped
got
him.
everything out of timing with regard to guys covering a lane and guys being where they're supposed to be. All of a sudden now, the whole timing of that play changes. And Bryant doing a great job, great vision to be able to see what was available to him. But you see that all the time. There's a tempo, I think, for these guys in coverage to come down the field and make a play, and that tempo was disrupted, and Bryant did a great job for his team to take advantage of it.
Looks like that will be brought back. Trying to figure out what's going on. man.
Well, I'll tell you what, this is one heck of a price to pay. I honestly didn't see
I
the
think he might have
celebration,
done, yeah.
but it's unsportsmanlike, which I assume would have happened after he scored. I would have thought that was something that would be assessed on the kick, but
Guess
looks
not.
like they're going to take this all the way back to the 25 and have to earn it. Boy, that is a tough one.
We'll see the rain coming back. You see Bryant on the carry at the gain of 1.
Well, Braves with a terrific opportunity to be where we were thinking they might be here a little while ago, with the chance to get off the field, get the ball back. Not sure exactly what we've got time-wise. We haven't had the clock on the screen. We've got the space for it, but the clock has been at zeros this quarter, and the time is being kept on the field, so we don't know exactly how much time is left, which of course plays into what you do as an offense.
We'll see McIntyre keep it running to his left. Pushed out of bounds.
Yeah, we're going to keep that clock running with forward
By Jalen
progress.
Thornton.
Pushed out of bounds, left side.
Well, Indian Hill's going to call a timeout, which tells me that we're getting close to the end of the first half. Indian Hill with a chance to get that ball back with the 3rd and 8 coming up. That's, boy, Jake, I really thought we were looking at a penalty assessed on the kick. I did not know.
Yeah, that's
they're going to wipe out the touchdown.
wow.
And I saw, that call. The hands, parallel to the ground, and out, that's, an unsportsmanlike. And, there's nothing to get unsportsmanlike about until you score.
Exactly.
Maybe it happens in advance of the score.
Yeah, there's like data.
Gabe Oaks, I think Gabe's only 13, but I think this is actually his 20th year of being the water boy for Indian Hill Braves football. My question is, when Gabe, who is now a 7th grader, is playing football for the Braves on Friday nights, who is going to bring Gabe the water? Gabe Oaks, one of the all-time greats.
It's Devon Bryant on the carry for the Wildcats. Will
And
not
Indian
get
Hill's
past the
going
line
to
of
call
scrimmage.
their 2nd timeout.
McIntyre on the carry for Deer Park.
So
Stopped by Jalen Thornton.
Indian Hill's going to get the ball back with an opportunity here. I just don't know how much time we got, Jake. If this is going to be an opportunity to return a punt for a touchdown, if they're going to have a couple plays from scrimmage.
4th down.
Only time will tell.
That's right. I see our quarterback down at the other 40. Looks like he's ready to take the
Timeout
field.
on the field. Bob Summerall, AAA Tires guaranteed.
Tell you what, Trey Lopez, 2 things if at all possible, it's not going to be a fair catch, and he certainly has the talent to make a play and get in the end zone. So we'll see how this goes, but Trey Lopez will go back. I'd imagine he'll be just on the other side of the field, maybe the 45 or so. Yeah, Trey Lopez with his toes on the 45-yard line. Returnable
Lopez
kick.
will field.
Oh my gosh.
Nice gain of 10 for the Braves.
Yeah, Trey Lopez with just a terrific job. I think the first thing you always want is somebody that will actually catch the ball to establish field position. But this guy gives you a little extra. Not only does he catch the ball, he seems to get something positive on every return. Traffic, and there's a lot of traffic there, Jake.
Yeah. off to
available.
Lopez, and he
Nobody
will
there.
run
Just outrun
fairly
him.
free.
Oh, just outrun him.
Slippery, he is. Wow. Nice stiff arm, but a flag has been thrown.
Let's see.
Might have been a face mask.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm hoping.
Just held on a little long on his face mask.
Personal foul face mask. That's going to be another
Face mask call on Deer Park.
15 yards, given where the ball is spotted. That's not just a half the distance, that's the full 15.
Play. See where the penalty might have been thrown. Yeah, I thought that one might have been the penalty right there.
Trey treating that like a I'm convinced. I think I have more confidence in Trey's speed than Trey does. I'm convinced he could have run by everybody. Great job by Trey Lopez.
Is in motion, but he will
He's
hand
in.
it off to Demetrius Williams. Baylor for a touchdown.
That's a two-headed monster. It's like when they asked John Kerry who his favorite player was, he said Manny Ortiz.
Demetrius Baylor on the touchdown for the Braves.
Yeah, you know, here we go again. He gets past that first level and it's all over. And really, he's just, you know, and he gets a full head of steam, and it's almost like the effort level changes too. Boy, what a turn of events.
2 back-to-back first quarter touchdowns. Oh, and a block PAT by number 21, Austin Miller, the senior.
Yeah, Austin Miller doing a nice job. That could come into play as competitive as this game has been. And you don't see that very often. The Braves at one stretch had a consecutive point after streak of over 50. So that is a rarity. Of course, it takes everything. It's not just the kick. There's quite a bit going on there. It's what made it so exceptional that it actually happened, that they had that many in a row. But that could come into play. But boy, how about the turn of events? You have just an incredible night with the second kick return for a touchdown, and then gets negated. Braves hold, get off the field, get the ball back in great field position, and then punch it in to take this lead that looks like they might take into the half.
If you ever know when the half's going to start.
Yeah. Jake, are you kicking the ball out of bounds at this point? I mean, what are you doing? I've never seen a night with the kicks like this. You know, you got Deer Park punching the ball and Indian Hill starting at the 50 every drive, and now you got Deer Park when they're receiving, taking it back.
Another squib covered by number 21, Austin Miller, again following a blocked punt.
Well, you hate to say that starting on the 40 is progress, but got to be honest about it, that's progress. We don't have a good feel for just how much time is left in this first half, but have to assume, given that Indian Hill took consecutive timeouts on 3rd and 4th down before that last series, that it's very limited. Of course, Deer Park had to take a couple of timeouts early in the game when they had the ball down at the goal line going in to score.
See McIntyre with the keeper. Might have been short of the first down, and they will get the first down.
Boy, I tell you what, it looks like they're always just a step away from breaking free.
Looks like the Braves have recovered the football.
Recovered by the Braves.
Wow, so many guys out there that hard to see exactly what happened. But boy, Deer Park with a couple of just really significant plays here to put the Braves in business. replay. Well, you see the Braves came up with it, but came about.
We'll see Dean looking to Lopez.
Oh,
Running wide left,
Just
but
run,
3
get out of
Wildcats are on him, and he will just run it out of bounds.
looks like we're going to have a penalty, a hold against the Braves.
Slide down.
Just unfortunate.
Yeah, not sure how much time is left, but have to think, the Braves are fortunate in the kicking game to where if they get that ball down to about the 20 and get out of bounds, they would have an opportunity to put points on the board here. Throw by
And
Hammond.
with the Philly special, looks like that will be a first down for the Braves following a 1st and 20.
Yeah, nice job by Luke Hammond to make that throw on the run.
Down the right side.
And Lopez to get out of bounds.
Good throw by Luke Hammond.
Yeah, tough throw. I mean, he's on the dead run, and
See Dean looking long to Lopez.
uh-oh.
Oh, just overthrown, but it will be picked off by number 4, Nori Johnson for the Wildcats.
Yeah, that's about where the Braves would need to have been, that 20-yard line, in order to have a good chance at a field goal. But
Just a miscommunication and
Nori Johnson on the
an
interception.
overthrown ball.
well, tough too. Don't know if that ball's wet. That ball just came out of his hand. It really sailed. You have to think there was something there. Sure wasn't vision, because I know he didn't see anything that deep. Jake, you never know. I don't know how much time's left
I
on the
don't-
clock, but I know there's time for another mistake or two.
Oh, Jesus.
Because this game, I mean, really, you think about it, the last several minutes, boy, both these teams could say, hey, we're giving up some opportunities. But the energy level, the effort level is tremendous. So about time to get to that half, have the coaches settle everybody down, talk, and come out, play some football here in the second half. Just don't know when that's going to happen. I have to think that when Coach Arcuri took back-to-back timeouts, we were probably under 4 minutes.
I'll bring up 3rd down situation for the Wildcats.
Third down.
And it looks like that's it. The surprise ending. I like surprises. We're going to go to the half. And the Braves lead at 27-21. Jake, we saw just about everything in that first half.
From fumbles, interceptions.
It's like a baseball game at Wrigley
my God.
Field. I mean, we saw everything. Well, I'm sure the Braves will come out and try to establish a few things. I think they'll try to be a little physical with that run game. And for Deer Park, get some electrolytes and maybe a Snickers bar and come out and
And at the
keep
half,
that energy level.
Braves up 27, the Deer Park Wildcats at 21. We'll see you after halftime.
break a groove down, won't you?
Sometimes.
The office. He did the office. Yeah, whatever I did, he did the office. Okay. All right. So, got it on the field?
Yes.
Well, now he just put it back, so
I'll get it adjusted.
okay.
So where we need
Probably.
band will be done, and then
Once you get that all the way down at the.
it's pretty damn.
They got deer park in here, don't they?
Apologies.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Deer park's in here.
Now entering the field for your halftime entertainment is the Braves Marching Band and the combined 7th and 8th grade band for the 2018 band night. Tonight the bands will be performing the music of Carlos Santana, Tito Puente, and Pia Cabello.
Your other guys running down to the restroom all weekend.
Thanks.
Hold on, I'll go with you.
And now, your Indian Hill Braves Marching Band and the 7th and 8th grade combined bands will be performing a rousing version of Evil Ways by Carlos Santana. with the Indian Hill fight song.
Hey, Darren! Where's the team even at?
I unplugged it, took it off battery, and put it out there. So.
From the IHTN studios, it's Braves Beat.
Hey there, Indian Hill. Welcome to this week's Braves Beat, and welcome to our new set. I'm Ethan Shaw.
And I'm Luke Johnson.
We got a lot of news to cover, so let's get right into it. Our very own Indian Hill Counseling Department just earned an Oscar from the Ohio School Counseling Association. This is the highest level of recognition in counseling programs in all of Ohio. They will be recognized in Columbus during the All Ohio Counselors Conference on Thursday, November 8th.
And speaking of counselors, we have a new counselor this year. Braves Beat's own Sailor Betts got an interview with Mrs. Debbie McDaniel in our studio. Let's check it out.
Thanks, guys, and thank you for joining me today, Mrs. McDaniel. First things first, could you tell me a little bit about yourself or what brought you to Indian Hill?
I have been in education for many, many years. I was a counselor. Really am still very excited to be a counselor. So when there was an opening here for a substitute, I jumped on it.
What are you most excited for at Indian Hill to bring us?
I'm most excited to get to know the kids. I have heard wonderful things about all of you. And I am extremely anxious to get to meet all the kids, and especially my part of the alphabet, which is A through E.
Back to you guys at the news desk.
Thanks, Sailor. In sport news, Ben Bayless repeats as CHL cross-country champion. Our girls took third, and our boys took second. Our first team CHL consists of Ben Bayless, Nolan Heffernan, and Elizabeth Whaley.
Also, Ellie Rabinold and Claudia Hollander are second team CHL, and both Maggie Shoney and Bradley Coral are honorable mentions. Good job, Braves.
Just for some fun, some of our Braves Beat crew members took it upon themselves to take a little footage around the studio. Here's some backstage clips.
My shirt says Acadia, and I'm going to look up Acadia right now. Acadia. Meaning. Definition. It was actually a French colony, so I guess I'm like part of Canada.
Julianne! 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 I request an audience. Where are your glasses? Why aren't you wearing them? I have a few freckles on my body if you want to look at them. Look, I have 2 freckles right here. If you squeeze them, it looks like it. No, look. Look, it looks like an elephant. Okay, that file is all good. It's all exported. I'm liking this one. I like this one. Let's go to Google Play. You know, Ramo, you're gonna have to work on that one yourself. I am busy currently.
I wasn't asking you.
Well, you did not.
October 18th, just to let you know. And you do whatever brings joy to you.
So was yesterday, and should I say it was a blast? Shows on Saturday.
I don't know.
But you're in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, thespian.
It was a blast.
It's supposed to be weird.
He doesn't know the rules.
That's not true.
Today,
That's not true.
She doesn't take it seriously.
and
I do.
Let's take it seriously.
I
It's
beg
like
to
the
differ.
opposite in fact.
She's always screwing around.
That's like you.
What? Let's get this bread.
Supposed to be the behind the scenes package.
I asked, do we have a fall play package? You said no.
It's not the fall play package, it was just a package, so
But then why do you say no? Okay, just put it in.
yeah, we're adding it.
I just ate 1,000,000 Scovilles, so you try it.
Now, an amazing accomplishment made by a Cincinnati team. Abby Cates from Cincinnati Hills Christian Academy competed on NBC's The Voice, making it onto Kelly Clarkson's team.
Let's check out a clip from Abby's audition.
Great job, Abby. We hope to see you in the finale.
Don't forget to check out the fall play The Crucible by Arthur Miller. The first show was yesterday and it was a blast.
Another show will be today, October 19th, and tomorrow, October 20th, and both of them are at 7:30. So make plans to come out and support your classmates.
And you know it's going to be a great show.
Well, that's all we have for this week.
Be sure to follow us on Twitter, subscribe to us on YouTube, and email us with any school updates.
And don't forget about the home football game tonight against Deer Park Wildcats. Be there and be loud.
And as always,
stay classy, Indian Hill.
Oh, Lucy. Stealing hoodies.
Yes, sir. They did. Ran it all the way back. Yeah. Okay, thanks. Jake. There you go.
Clock will be kept on the field. The clock will be kept on the field for the duration of the second half. Braves will be receiving the second half.
Well, we're back for the second half. The Braves leading by 6. Bit of a surprise in the first half in the sense of all the crazy things that we saw, but one thing that Deer Park's had a good season so far, and this is a tight one. I think the players had to expect that, but saw a couple of kicks returned for touchdown. We had a number of turnovers. We had a lot of plays or series drives start at midfield. One thing we want to alert you to is that the clock in the second half will be kept on the field. What you're going to see on the screen is not necessarily going to be correct. It just gives you a sense of what might be happening. Demetrius Baylor with that return. And the Braves will get it to start this second half at the 25-yard line. So we'll see what the Braves, Jake, were talking about at the half and what they've decided to do and come out and establish. I think they want to get something consistent working for them here offensively in the second half.
And there's Lopez in motion. Dean will hand it off to Lopez, and he will run it out right at the 35-yard line.
Ball around the left side.
Trey Lopez with a big first half.
5-yard gain. Second down.
Did a little bit of everything. The return game, the run game, the pass game.
Sean McIntyre pushed him out of bounds.
John Mark Williams back. Looks like they'll pitch
Dean
it to
will
him.
pitch it off to Williams, as you just said. Williams brought down by number 3, De'Aris Thomas.
Williams takes the pitch.
Yeah, John Mark Williams, a wrestler as well as a football player. Great balance, great strength, and able to finish that run a little bit physically there, and looks like he's going to come off the field.
John Mark Williams, a state finalist, made the state finals in wrestling, just came up in second place, but hopefully he'll get back into first place in this upcoming season. Dean hands it off to Williams, or Baylor, pardon me. Brought down and tackled by number 4, Nori Johnson.
Yeah, Meach doing a great job running hard, and Jake didn't go out on that sideline. Wanted to take that all the way, made him actually take him to the ground. Great work by Demetrius Baylor. Great start to this second half for the Braves. Yeah, John Mark is a wrestler. Understands leverage, and he's just going to get better. The more carries he gets, the more he recognizes how to use his strength. And
Dean dropping back, looking for Lopez, but looks long to Hammond, and he will get it. Oh! But it looks like he might have stepped out of bounds first.
Well, these pass complete to Luke Hammond, but goes out of bounds. Incomplete.
Yeah, Hammond's doing a great job getting down the sideline and physically competing for that football. He was out of bounds, though. Good call. Nice target for Dean to see. And a lot of times we're seeing Hammond run those outs and maybe get in the middle of the field. Don't see him down the sideline all that much, at least in home games that we've done, the telecast. And nice to see him get down the sideline. He is a guy you can throw the ball up to. Jump ball, he's got that height advantage.
Dean hands it off to Baylor. Loss of 3 for the Braves.
Demetrius Baylor stopped by a pack of Wildcats. Third down.
That'll bring up a third down situation. 3rd and 15 for the Braves.
Yeah, he had the incomplete pass and then the loss there on 2nd down. Braves don't have to get it all. I suspect if the Braves got 7 or 8 of it, they might look at going for it. This might be 2-down territory if they get enough here on 3rd down.
Dean dropping back out of the pocket. Nice catch by Lopez.
Hold in, pass complete to Trey Lopez.
But that will bring up a 4th down.
Yeah, great hands by Lopez. I think they're at that part of the field, though, that they got enough there to give it a shot here on 4th down. Be interesting to see the play call. Interesting, too, that entire Braves offense, linemen and everybody looking to the sideline for the same signal.
Dean getting lots of pressure, but Jalen Thornton just couldn't get upstairs.
Love the play, just difficult to execute. Dean with 2 defenders bearing down on him. Hard to get that ball over, though. Jalen Thornton on that side of the field with Deshaun McIntyre doing a nice job in coverage. But boy, Jake, if he had it, I think he might be running all the way down that sideline.
I would agree with you on that.
So good idea. Just a little too much pressure in that backfield by the Deer Park Wildcats. McIntyre comes right out of coverage and directing his team.
We'll see McIntyre keep it. Trying to get right up the middle with a gain of about 2.
Got by Private Braves short of the 40-yard line.
Sean McIntyre, well-traveled. I believe might have started his high school career at Decatur and Indianapolis, a little bit of time at Purcell. Good athlete.
See McIntyre handed it up to Bryant.
It's Bryant again.
Not much of a gain.
Got a fumble?
Call on the field is it's 3rd down. So we're going to have a 3rd down and about 7 yards, maybe 6 yards. You know, I think, Jake, one of the things that happens, so many of those handoffs are stood up, that there's a tug for the ball. And forward progress, once it stops, possession stays.
We'll see McIntyre hand it to Bryant, but is brought down immediately by number 54 for the Braves, Joe Oakes.
Yeah, once again, we talk about Joe Oakes being out there on the field defensively. It gives you some sense of just how important this situation is for the Braves. And Deer Park, I like this. They're coming out in punt formation. Originally, the offense stayed on the field, looked like they were thinking about it. No need to flinch here. Deer Park playing Indian Hill straight up.
Austin Miller back to punt to Deer Park.
Sign of confidence in his team. No need to take a chance here.
Punt is up, almost blocked.
Yeah, Jack
Back to receive,
Hankin.
Lopez will call the fair catch. Doesn't happen very often.
No, but you know what I like? I like the fact he got away from that ball, seeing that it wasn't going to cost him a lot of yards, and the risk wasn't worth the reward. And Trey Lopez doing a good job there, making a good decision. Yeah, that ball was just going to roll a few more yards, not worth taking the chance. And yeah, that's a guy that night in, night out, game in, game out, does a great job of fielding the ball, not letting that ball roll and roll and roll and change field position. Trey Lopez, a good teammate.
See Dean hand it off to Williams. Running up the middle, he will break free. Nice block by number 3, Trey Lopez. The 10, the 5, touchdown Braves.
Jake, so much to love on that play. First of all, you have Jalen Thornton, who for his size is as good as you'll see a big man out in space, able to get contact with a smaller defender and keep contact. You mentioned it, Trey Lopez with a devastating block. But even more, what I love about that, John Mark Williams, a heck of an athlete, and he trusted his speed. Not trying to do too much, just beat people, be an athlete, and just beat them down the field. And John Mark running hard. It's like Marcus Allen out there. Got the sleeves and the whole thing. I love it.
Another block for the Wildcats.
The extra point blocked.
Yeah, Jake, we said we saw it all in the first half, and second half, kind of a strange start to this second half as well. But great news for the Braves. It's all right. You move on, 12-point lead, and let's get out there and play some defense, and that starts with covering this kick. But once again, that last play indicative of so many good things that this team's capable of doing. I'm just really happy to see John Mark Williams trust his athleticism. Instead of trying to make too many moves and hesitate, just hit it and win. And he's more than good enough to take that ball the distance.
Looks like the rain's making another appearance again tonight.
Braves on the sideline with the board. Interested to see what they do, if they feel like they can just do what they normally do, which is kick this the distance, or if they continue to respect Deer Park's return ability and pooch this thing. Let's see what happens.
We've got a tie ball game at Princeton versus Mason, 13-13 in the 4th.
Well, a tough situation out at Princeton with the ineligibility after they had such a great start.
Dominant season.
It really, it just seemed to take the air out of the balloon, understandably, for those kids. Once that happens, your shot at the playoffs and everything else goes away, and nice job rallying. Coach Daniels out there doing a good job.
There's Johnson returning for the Braves.
Trey Lopez is all over the place
right now.
He sure is.
Boy.
Yeah, good to see Trey out there having fun. The first thing you see with all this is Trey Lopez is healthy. And he struggled with some shoulder issues and some nagging things all year.
And a concussion as well.
Yeah.
He's one tough cookie.
Yeah, maybe too much for his own good, but it sure is fun to watch. Braves with a great opportunity right here to really get control of this game. If they can get off the field, give that offense another chance to separate.
We'll see McIntyre hand it to Bryant. A gain of 5 for the Wildcats.
Devon Bryant on the keeper, out past the 25-yard line.
Strong back right there.
Tackled by Will Cleacamp for the Braves.
Looks like McIntyre came up a little gimpy. Yeah, Bryant, boy, that center of gravity, that is trouble. You know, first you got to see him, Jake. I mean, 5'7", you got to see him. And then, you just can't grab him up around the shoulders. That's not going to work. So, tough duty, and it looks like we're going to have a timeout here for Deer Park. Not sure if that had to do with play call or anything like that, or just trying to get Deshaun McIntyre physically, give him a little bit of a blow. I'm not sure what that was about. Hey, by the way, speaking of questions with regard to the game, in the first half we both remarked that was a heck of a price to pay and didn't understand how you could assess a personal foul after a touchdown had been scored to bring that ball back. As it turns out, there were 2 flags on the field.
Oh.
When the official went to make the call that was accepted was not actually the personal foul, but that's what he called on the field. It was a mistake on his part. It was actually a hold that he should have called, which was during the play itself, which is why that ball came back.
That makes sense.
So we hadn't lost our mind. It wasn't the worst call in history. It wasn't anything like that. It was just a simple mistake with regard to which penalty was assessed and that there were multiple penalties. Like so many things in this world, it's nice to know that there's a reason. There's a reasonable explanation. So happy to hear that at the half.
We'll see McIntyre pitch it to Johnson. We pushed out of bounds by number 14 for the Braves.
Looks like the rain's starting to fall again here.
Ty Thornton.
Result of the play is a Deer Park first down.
Rain is falling, but doesn't seem to be affecting the crowd very much. Don't see people scrambling for cover. Do see the umbrellas. Those that have them have come back out.
See McIntyre pitch it over to Johnson. Good tackle by number 10, Jalen Thornton.
Deer Park showing a little something different with the pitch game. Actually, I think Braves will probably take it. They're able to dissect that, see it, and actually go make a play on one potential ball carrier instead of 2. That read has been a little bit difficult for the Braves. And seeing some of these backs, particularly the 5'7" Bryant, taking a toll on the Braves as well.
We'll see McIntyre hand it off. Will be brought down.
Braves stay home, tackled by a Tribe of Braves.
Yeah, Braves doing a good job just staying in their responsibility.
Third down.
Now with a 3rd down and long, 3rd and call it 8. Braves with a chance to get off the field.
See McIntyre look. But we may be hecked off by number 3, Trey Lopez. And he will run it into the house. Oh, just short. Just short of a touchdown. Threw it right into Lopez's hands.
Yeah, not sure if we're going to have another look at this, Jake, but Trey Lopez read that the entire way. Trey Lopez had seen Deer Park in a situation with play action come to his side earlier in the game. Read that one, stepped in front, and it was just pitch and catch.
Block in the back called on the Braves on the return.
Just a shot in the leg.
Yeah, once you get those returns and you got guys flying from every direction, it's kind of like a punt return. You know, you're going to have penalties when you're trying to block. Guys just trying to help their teammate get in the end zone. I think the Braves were smelling 6 there.
Just unfortunate.
So Braves will be backed up, but nonetheless get possession, which is what they really wanted here. You get another score on the board, you really get control of this game, and the rain is falling. It's really coming down at this point.
Braves start on the Deer Park 43-yard line.
Expect a heavy dose of Demetrius Baylor right about now.
Screen pass to Lopez. Just couldn't get a hand on it.
Pass down the left sideline.
Just kind of throws the ball at the ref's feet.
I think the referee's saying something to Trey, say, hey, look, this is hard enough. I'm, not quite as flexible as you are. Throw me the ball.
Rain's really coming down now.
Yeah. Yeah, Trey Lopez doing something in every phase of this football game tonight. Just showing you what an X factor he can be.
We'll see Dean, shotgun formation. Looking short to Williams, gets a hand on it.
And we're going to have another.
And he will get see the first down. But it's brought down hard by number 4, Nori Johnson.
Yeah, a flag in the backfield, but looks like that's going to be more of a roughing, I think, than anything, because there really wasn't anybody back there to block. So I'm pretty sure this is going to go against Deer Park, which is going to take this maybe half the distance, which will give them another couple of yards. Oh, I take that back. Ineligible. Well, got offsetting penalties. Wow. I just saw the one that was in the backfield. Didn't see the other one.
Penalties on both sides. Offsetting penalties. We'll replay the down.
Yeah, anytime you throw that screen, you've got the potential for the legal man downfield. Looked like somebody must have left early, trying to get out there and make a play for their teammate.
Those penalties offset.
Really surprised. Braves get the ball. The rain's coming down. Got a chance to really physically take control of this game, and we've seen the Braves throw it twice. Looks like there's a little bit of a discussion here.
Jeopardy.
Greg Leschek, the best in the business with the music. Greg had a little Jeopardy for the officials. He had I've Lived Everywhere, Johnny Cash a little earlier.
And the Law and Order theme song.
I tell you what, man knows what he's doing, at least at night. I'm sure he's pretty good during the day, too, with what he does, the day job.
We'll see Lopez in motion. Dean hands it off to Williams.
Yeah, John
Mark.
Mark.
Taken down by Nori Johnson.
Did you see the way John Mark got through the line there? He is now starting to feel it. And I tell you what, Braves would be advised to get that motor going. Maybe feed that a little bit. Get him more comfortable. Going to be really big for the Braves for the next few weeks. Once you get a guy like that in rhythm, keep feeding it. 3rd and 5 here in 2-down territory. Opportunity to get physical.
We'll see Dean hand it off to Williams yet again. Running to his right.
Come on, John.
John Mark Williams around the right side. Goes out of bounds.
Yeah, John Mark doing a great job using the speed to get out there. Looks like there's going to be a personal foul.
Flag down.
But John Mark doing a good job to get out there. He is a gentleman.
We'll see you the penalty. will be on.
I think that's going to be after the play, so whichever way that goes, I think we're going to be dealing with a first down. What the heck was that?
Not quite sure what that was.
Oh. Hey, you know, just be thankful you're not out there in the rain.
Oh, I'm thankful.
Well,
15-yard penalty.
Against the Braves, over on that sideline. And let's see who the coaches talk to. Maybe we can figure out. Yeah. Yeah, must not have gotten that first down. Otherwise, we'd be looking at a first and long.
We'll see
So
Logan
as
Person.
it is, going to give up the ball. I think the Braves would have gone for it, too. So this is just like a turnover, that penalty.
Back to receive. Devon Bryant again. But Alex Lindbergh might have just recovered it for the Braves. Mark Bennett, excuse me.
Great job by Bennett. Yeah, to get down there and be close and be opportunistic. You know, you look at that Bryant, a heck of a player for Deer Park. You just can't underestimate what it means for a guy to be able to field punts cleanly. We see it all the time with Lopez and what he gives the Braves and how important it is. Very difficult. He makes it look easy, but as we see there, it's not. Bryant, a terrific player. Tough to see that happen here at this point in the game for him.
See Dean keeping it for himself. Oh,
jeez. Cole Dean
a
showing
hard hit by Christian Figgins for the Wildcats.
Showing some toughness.
Flag down.
Yeah, Cole Dean really showing some toughness there instead of handing that ball off. Looks like we got a foul where the tackle took place. Unsportsmanlike. Going against Deer Park. It's going to be a half the distance. Not sure what they called there other than the unsportsmanlike. Not sure why it was unsportsmanlike.
Ball goes to the 9-yard line. First and goal, Braves.
A perfect situation for the Braves to put some more
Like they
points on
called
the board.
Twice didn't get, obviously don't have an explanation, but at any rate, first and goal for the Braves.
He hands it to Williams. But is taken down by number 54, Sam Chadwell.
Yeah, I tell you what, Chadwell's a big kid. You think about Meach dragging him for a few yards. He wasn't going to get away from him, but shows you some of the strength of Demetrius Baylor. Sam Chadwell, 6'5", 260 pounds. And Meach going an extra 2 or 3 yards after contact. Meach going to get it again, and he's going to get in.
And Baylor with the touchdown for the Braves.
Let's take a look here. Everything's crowded in the middle of the field. So you've got a good seal. Thornton getting out there. Hammond's out there with a good block. The best thing about it is no holding, no reason to. If you just stand the guy up and you have the guy occupied, if he does make contact, Meach is going to take him into the end zone with him anyway at that point at the 2 or 3. Great job by the Braves.
Braves will give it to Lopez to run it in for the 2-point conversion.
On the right side for the 2-point conversion. And with some amount of time left in the third quarter.
So Braves get that lead up to 20 due to the missed extra points. Important for the Braves for that 2-point conversion. And Trey Lopez, who else?
Bob Summerall, AAA Tires, guarantees the best driveway tire prices in greater Cincinnati.
Joe Oakes calling for some assistance for Trey Lopez.
Go online to bobsummeralltire.com. Bob Summerall really cares.
Joe looking out for him.
For all the latest Indian Hill athletic news, go to ihbraves.org.
Recovered by Bryant. Oh, and a tough hit. The other side of a play.
Ron Bryant on the return. Tackled inside the 15-yard line of Deer Park.
Well, that was effective for the Braves.
Tackled by Graham Weiler of the Braves.
Graham Weiler on the tackle. And it looks like that's going to be the end of the third quarter. Again, the clock not working, but referees give us a signal.
Felt like an eternity.
Yeah, Braves come out and put 14 on the board, extend that lead to 20. Jake, one of the things going on in the CHL, the year that Evan Prather is having over at Wyoming. Let me hit you with a couple of numbers here on Mr. Prather. Of course, the ball always starts in his hands as a quarterback. Prather, when he throws it, per attempt, he's averaging just under 13 yards per attempt. Jake, you say, well, what about when he runs it? He's just a little over 9 yards every time he runs it per attempt.
For a quarterback.
Yeah, so good things happening with Evan Prather. 15 touchdowns, 2 interceptions through the air, and 17 rushing touchdowns. So as we look to next week and Evan Prather coming into Tomahawk Stadium, having a terrific year. You know, just looking at that and thinking about some of the great years by quarterbacks in the CHL, give you one from 2015. You kind of forget about Reed Eichholz maybe in some of the numbers that he put up. Reed Eichholz that year, Evan Prather has thrown for 1,216 yards. That year, Reed Eichholz threw for 2,558 yards. And you say, well, how about running the ball into the end zone? Eichholz did it 31 times.
Wow.
31 times in 2015. Special season for the Braves, but they're going to see another great quarterback that projects very high come in here next Friday.
Fumble on the play.
Yeah, Pearson Rogers back. Joey Edmonds running around in that secondary. So a lot to think about with the Wyoming Cowboys. And if I know Wyoming, they did what they had to do tonight with regard to Marymount. Probably no surprises.
We'll see Nori Johnson with a carry for the Wildcats, pushed out of bounds.
Nori Johnson on the carry for Deer Park.
Pushed out of bounds by John Mark Williams.
Yeah, tough thing for the Braves tonight. I think, you know, you look forward to a week like that, and I'm not saying that the kids did that or certainly the coaches didn't do it. I know that. This veteran coaching staff is as good as there is. But one of the things that you would really like to see tonight is getting guys off the field at some point. And because of the nature of this game, that obviously hasn't happened. Deer Park came in and played a terrific game.
We'll see McIntyre handed off to Bryant.
John McIntyre on the quarterback keeper. Stop for no gain, brings it 4th down.
Tonight here, other games in the city of Cincinnati outside of the CHL. One to note that might have playoff implications. Clinton Massey is at New Richmond, and while it wouldn't surprise me if Clinton Massey handled New Richmond 6-1 since that opening week loss here at Tomahawk Stadium.
Austin Miller's punt.
So be interested to see what the result of that one was. Tomorrow at St. X is going to host St. Ignatius. St. Ignatius put it on Moeller last week. And St. X right now
A little bit of a rough start.
is the number 11 team in Region 4. So top 8 make the playoffs. St. X right now sitting at number 11. That would go a long way if St. X is able to beat them. St. X sitting at 4-4 right now. You ask who's number 10 in those Harbin ratings or the Joe Edel ratings? Western Hills. If you'd have told me at week 9 that St. X would be right behind Western Hills, I think Joe Edel might be struggling a little bit with that one.
And Dean looking long.
Yeah, a couple scores around the league. Reading at Taylor, we mentioned. Reading up 28-0. How about this one?
Golding's pass complete to
I mean,
Luke Hammond
this
around
gives
the
you
left
some indication of how great the program is at Coleraine. Shockingly, I mean, Fairfield is having a terrific year, but Coleraine up 13 points, 34-21 in the fourth quarter. Mason up by 3 over Princeton in the fourth quarter.
Dean handing it off to Baylor. Will run it right in for yet another Braves touchdown.
Well, I think the Braves have gotten to the point where they might be able to get some guys off the field and head into that Wyoming game 100%. Let's take a look at this, Jake.
It's a great Baylor. See Dean handed off to Williams yet again for a 2-point conversion for the Braves.
Demetrius Baylor having a heck of a night. Of course, those runs from close are killing his average, that touchdown run. But I don't think he minds. Demetrius Baylor making up for lost time and having another great night here at Tomahawk Stadium. Meach having the time of his life.
I keep saying Baylor and Williams. I keep switching them around. They're just the two-headed monster.
They are the two-headed monster. It's like Cadillac Williams and the other guy. I forget the other guy. Hey, Madeira taking care of business against Finneytown at home, 35-0. We mentioned Madeira right now the 5 seed in the Division 5 Region 20. So nothing but good things going on there. Trinity Catholic beating Brian Huell's LaSalle Lancers 21-0.
Wow.
Yes. I hear Huell crying in the box below us. CHCA, apparently their season's gotten a little bit better. They're up 50-0 against Norwood.
Jeez. We'll see 21 receive it. Austin Miller. For the Wildcats, but
And
runs
that
out of bounds.
Clinton Massey and the Richmond game has gone final. 21-7 Clinton Massey, so things will not change. Looks like Wyoming will hold the 1 spot, Clinton Massey the 2, and the Braves will be number 3 heading into the final week of the season.
Interesting, interesting.
.8 lead. The rain coming down here in the fourth quarter. And as has been the case for many years here at Tomahawk Stadium, we can hear the beautiful tones of Larry Eli encouraging his players. I love it. I absolutely love
Larry
it.
Eli.
The Larry Eli. And for the parents, grandparents, whoever it is that's watching, your son could not be more privileged to play and have that man around at all times. He is an absolute legend. Former Iowa Hawkeye, Chicago Bear, Cincinnati Bengal, and a man that just loves being here, loves these kids.
Oh, ball might have been loose.
Devon Bryan. Stopped by Jalen Thornton.
Yeah, Jalen Thornton, what a night he's had tonight. Both sides of the ball. Hate to think where this team would be with that really tough Deer Park, I keep thinking Wildcats, Deer Park rushing attack without Jalen Thornton in there.
And Nori Johnson. Oh. Will run out of bounds after Will Kleekamp just couldn't get a hand on him.
They got some good-looking athletes, don't they, Jake?
Yeah.
This kind of reminds me last year. You know, you saw Reading last year with some of the guys that they put on the field. Braves beat them, I don't know, 42-6, something like that. But you just looked at it and said, man, that's a good group of athletes out there. Mancini Jackson, one of the all-time coolest names in CHL history.
That's for sure.
Yeah, this group's the same way. A lot of good athletes. Of course, Henry Mancini, one of the great composers. My Pink Panther movies, I love them.
McIntyre on the carry. Stopped by Tribal Braves, short of the first down.
Well, Braves are going to take over. Come back out onto the field, keep it simple. Grind this thing out. Wish we could give you an update on the clock. We cannot. Not sure exactly how much time is left in this one, but Braves are in control, and they are going to head into Week 10 with maybe one of the, I would say, the most anticipated matchup since 2015 when two 9-0 teams took the field here at Tomahawk Stadium in Week 10.
We'll see Mark Bennett. Great run by Mark Bennett.
Yeah, Mark Bennett almost out in front of his skis. I mean, he was really moving there.
First down, Braves.
Mark Bennett's had a great year. But this Wyoming game, Wyoming will come in 9-0. The Braves 8-1. Of course, we think back a couple of years ago, those two 9-0 teams, Reading and Indian Hill, and it ended up in a, I believe, double or maybe triple overtime Braves win. We'll take a Braves win first and foremost.
We'll hand it off to Baylor.
Let's hope we have some kind of drama like that.
Not Williams.
Demetrius Baylor on the carry, down past the 30-yard line. Tackled by Darius Thomas of Deer Park.
I'll bring up 2nd and 2 for the Braves. Again, run by Baylor.
Love it. You know, just think about this guy. at this point in the game, he is not going to make it easy on anybody.
We'll see Bennett in motion yet again. Turning on the Jets. He's got room to run, and he will score for the Braves. Touchdown.
How about the decision, the read that Mark Bennett made to split defenders and get himself into the end zone? Jake, let's take a look at this. Once again, little jet sweep and
Jalen
cut
Thornton
up.
And Alex Lindbergh with the nice, creating the nice opening.
Look at Jalen Thornton. I'm not sure what he's going at. 240, 260. Out in space, able to maintain contact with a smaller defender. It really is amazing. Terrific teammate, Jalen Thornton.
Oh, Dean will drop the ball, but he will run it in. Just came up a bit short.
Cole goes back, wants to throw it, drops it. It bounces right back up. He says, no problem, I'll just try to run it in. You got to love having a cool-headed quarterback like that doesn't panic.
Braves lead 55-21.
Looks like we got a down Wildcat.
Timeout on the field.
Yeah, not sure who that is, but
Decline Realtors, your local source for real estate.
you have a little bit of a break in the action here.
Relocation and home service needs. Go to simpsyklein.com.
Well, not sure what the series win streak is for the Braves, but I think the last time there was a truly competitive, we had a great first half. We had a terrific first half, both teams. Back in 2006, this was a one-point game. Indian Hill got to win, I think 27-28, something like that. But since then, it's been a little bit lopsided. Good to see him up. Deer Park player is up, and looks like he's fine. He's walking off on his own power. Looks like that was Figgins. Well, you think about some of these backs. Figgins back next year. Nori Johnson, just a freshman. We talk about, at the top of the broadcast, we talked about how they're young. And they're not just freshmen on this team. There are freshmen that are making plays on this team. Of course, Jerry Hurd played quarterback for most of this year, just a sophomore. Deshaun McIntyre, a junior, he'll be back again next year. So, future looking bright for these Wildcats at Deer Park.
And Nori Johnson will receive for the Wildcats. But it's pushed out of bounds by Charlie DeGennaro.
Nori Johnson takes the kick back for Deer Park. Goes out of bounds.
Well, crowd seems to be embracing the rain. And cheerleaders and some of the fans still dancing.
Marcus from their own 27-yard line. We are now on a running clock.
Mercifully, we've got a running clock that any time over 30 points here in the second half. It's like a fumbled snap.
Fumble on the field.
Now we got a Wildcat down here on the field.
Timeout on the field.
Not sure if he fell down on the ball or what it was that might have taken place there, but Well, in anticipation of the Cowboys coming in here for the season finale, let's if you see Randy Church this week,
The Randy Church.
The Randy Church, you might want to talk a little smack to Randy Church. Make sure you get a sense of where Randy's loyalties lie. I think he's going to tell you Indian Hill since it's football season, but I'm not sure. Of course, we got Heather Allred Harris, back when she was Heather Allred, of course, the basketball and soccer player. So we got to keep an eye out on her and her family. And, of course, the biggest Wyoming family of all, the Oaks family. I know they are all in on Indian Hill red and black right now. There's no question about that.
No question.
Yeah. But sometimes I look at Patrick and I say, that's got to be hard, given your history with the Cowboys.
Well, it's going to change a little bit with Joe, a little green and black, maybe.
Oh, how about that? They already faced it.
Yeah.
And Ohio was beating Cincinnati for quite a bit of that game. The Civil War at the Oaks House. Mick doing really well down at the University of Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Scout Player of the Week several times this year. Mick Oaks, I tell you what, if there's a better kid in America, that guy, great teammate, doing a great job down there. And, of course, other guys tomorrow that are going to take the field.
Another
former
down
Braves.
Wildcat.
Zarian Hunter-Cure will be down at center. I guess it must be a bye week for Washington University because Tennyson Holmes is here. I got Dawson Eichholtz will be catching balls out at Johns Hopkins. Got Dan Becker playing well out at Youngstown State and healthy. Love to see that. Reed Eichholtz out at Lafayette. And, of course, back here at home, Reed's mom, Nancy Eichholtz, school board, and also running for Hamilton County Auditor. A lot of things going on in the Eichholtz family right now.
Indeed.
Yeah, they're busy. So we'll be interested to see what happens with young Mr. Baylor and what the opportunities are for him to play next year.
There's got to be.
Yeah, we know Joe Oaks is going to be in Athens at OU, and we know that Jalen Thornton's going to be in Morgantown at West Virginia. Look forward to seeing where Demetrius Baylor, he of the now probably averaging 14, 15 yards a carry for the season, see where he ends up. Oh, the other one I want to mention, Michael Bright, terrific defensive back down at center.
Nori Johnson on the carry for Deer Park.
Looks like Ty Thornton going to come in for Trey Lopez. Trey Lopez, a competitor, not able to turn that switch off right now when it's time to turn it off.
He can't turn that switch
Yeah,
off.
he and Nori Johnson got tangled up there after that play, and Braves going to discretion the better part of valor. Try to get out of this one here.
See a pitch by the Wildcats. Oh, and it's taken out of bounds by number 2, Charlie DeJaneiro.
Yeah, nice job to pick up that first down. Tough run right there.
First down. Approximately 3.5 minutes to go in the game.
You heard it right there. Rob Young making the call. Charlie DeJaneiro, pound for pound, the hardest hitter. You saying for the Braves or just in general? Gary Fensick, you going to take Ronnie Lott? You sticking with that?
Clay Matthews.
All right. Dennis Smith. Steve Atwater.
Justin Miller on the carry.
Oh, okay. You're talking about the Braves. All right. Excellent. Excellent. So, yeah, Prather, Rogers, the Mitchell boys, Edmonds, the whole group coming in next week. Pound for pound. I don't know if can you get Demetrius Baylor on the sideline here? All right. A little more interesting, to be honest with you, right now.
Oh, and pushed out of bounds by Charlie DeGennaro again.
Yeah.
Julian Anderson.
Yeah, you're not.
On the right sideline.
Let me look that up.
Charlie DeGennaro pushed him out
Okay.
of bounds. Result, Deer Park first down.
Yeah, they got him at 160. So you're saying that rain's going to take him up to 165. Excellent. Yeah, Charlie just a sophomore. Making plays all over the place. Yeah, Braves got a lot, you think about looking toward the future. Quite a few guys making big contributions for the Braves, too. Of course, William Kleekamp is just a sophomore. Yeah.
Julian Anderson on the carry.
Yeah, Charlie Summerall, kind of hoping that Charlie would get
Second down
a
for
lot
the
of
Braves,
carries
44.
tonight. Game didn't turn out that way. But he's been playing extremely well.
Looks like they're calling the game.
And you look at this line, too.
And that's the end of the
Scholl,
game.
Lindbergh, and Breedis coming back next year also, a big part of this ball club. Well, Jake, wrap this thing up.
We saw it all tonight, Brian.
We did. This was like disco demolition night at Comiskey Park. Unbelievable. The Braves come out. We saw kick returns for touchdowns. We saw,
Block PATs.
7 plays over 50 yards. And the guys went through it in the rain, and Braves come out with a win. It was tight through that first half, but the Braves come out in the second half, make a few adjustments, take control of the game, and everybody gets what they wanted here at Indian Hill, which is going into that final game of the season with the chance to win the CHL title, hosting the Wyoming Cowboys.
Signing off from Tomahawk Stadium. This one belongs to the Braves. Braves finish game 55. Deer Park Wildcats 21. I'm Jake Summerall. Joining with
Exclusive
me, Brian Shaw.
coverage of
Good night,
tonight's game on the Indian Hill Television Network has been a copyrighted presentation of the Indian Hill High School Video Department.